Hello, and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 299. That feels weird to say. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Matt P. Video. Matt, how are you?
It's always a surprise, always a shock now. Don't know who we're going to. I'm good, man. I'm really good.
You're back. You're back from your vacation. You're back from your holiday.
I am indeed.
How
I am
was it?
indeed.
Was it worth it?
It was lovely. It was great. Yeah. I'll be honest. Look, there were moments. There were moments during the holiday where I wasn't totally present. Okay, where I'm like, I wonder what Xbox are announcing right now. But
yeah,
I'm at a cocktail bar. I'm trying to be present, but it's difficult sometimes, you know. I still had a great time.
I'm glad. And obviously our other co-host is the one and only Too Fresh Crash. Crash, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing good, you know.
Jesus
you seem disappointed in me. Why are you disappointed in me?
I tell you what, audience, if you think maybe Crash gives us no energy at the starts on purpose, he hasn't given me any energy at all this morning. We're literally getting the show notes together. Crash hasn't said a word. Like,
a couple of words.
Like, what the hell? Like, what's wrong? Are you okay?
It's 6 a.m. for me.
It's always 6 a.m. for you. That's not an excuse.
I don't know what you want me to say. That's the only excuse I can think of.
Damn, this is a weird week. It's a weird time right now. We're finished with E3 now, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. And we're just a little bit of a hangover. Feeling for me, which we'll get into. But if you didn't know, My Xbox and Me is a weekly Xbox podcast right here on youtube.com/myxboxandme, and of course, all podcast services. If you really want to do us a favor, make sure you hit the review button on any podcast service that you choose. 5-star it, 8-star it, 9-star it, write a nice review. It does help a lot more than you'd even believe. Apple Podcasts especially is super weird with the way they rank. It's done off of new viewers and new reviewers, and we've had a bit of an influx coming since E3, so thank you for that. We do appreciate it. The other thing I would ask is if you are maybe just a podcast listener and you do have a YouTube account, even if you don't plan on watching us on YouTube, please do go over to youtube.com/myxboxandme and hit the subscribe button. It's my favorite channel to work on at the moment, My Xbox and Me, more than any of my other channels, and it's something that we're going to talk about after the show. It's something I want to do a lot more with. So, yeah, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. It does help when we see the numbers go up, and they are going up. So thank you for your continued support. It does mean a lot to us. If you want the show early, head over to patreon.com/mcfixer. And yeah, the shout out to our Patreon producers, Erengard and FNH Paul. Thank you, lads, for keeping the show on and keeping us going each and every damn week. It means the world to us. I'm actually meeting up with FNH Paul on Wednesday for dinner. Funny story.
You're taking FNH Paul out for dinner before you're taking me and Crash out for dinner?
Number one, let me make this very clear. I am not taking FNH Paul anywhere. FNH Paul hit me up and was like, yo, I'm in London.
He's taking you out for dinner.
Would you like to go? Should we go get dinner and drinks? And I was like, of course, you're in London. I wanna see you, and yeah, so we're gonna go. We don't know where we're going or what we're doing. I'll report back next week on what we're doing and stuff. But no, it's not a dinner date. It's not a date or anything like that. Anybody listening who understands that reference. But yeah, that's so no jealousy needed, Crash. Okay.
I wasn't gonna be jealous.
Good, I'm glad.
I'll be jealous.
Will come fixed, don't you worry.
I'll be jealous on your behalf.
I got no worries.
Topic of the show this week, lads. I thought we would, number one, talk about E3 as a whole. E3 is now been and gone. It's something that we were all very much looking forward to. We were all very much excited about. And I'll start off by saying it was kind of a dud. Overall, I'm not talking about specifically Xbox or specifically any show individually that was really, really bad. Koch. But I'm just saying E3 as a whole this year was a bit of a letdown. Now, before I go on to my big spiel about it all, obviously, thank you to everyone that worked hard on E3. I understand that it is not easy to do E3. I understand putting things together, hosting, literally everything that goes into E3 is not a small task. I know how hard it is for us dum-dums sitting here reacting to E3 and making content is. So I can only imagine how hard it is to cut a demo together or a trailer together for this, and I'm sure it took months and months of work. And so, just so people don't think I'm being an absolute arsehole, thank you for all your hard work. I do mean that, but we make content here, and we have to talk about this content, right? Which was E3 as a whole just wasn't exciting for me, as I thought it was going to be. Like, it felt like everybody except for Microsoft had one foot in, one foot out, and it was like, we have something to show, but it's not enough, but we're still going to show it anyway. And it just sort of left this weird feeling around me as a whole. And that's why I say, like, the hangover feeling today on this episode, where I'm like, I should be still buzzing from everything that's been announced. I should have watched trailers over and over and over again. And I did. There's a couple out there that I did. Halo being one of them, which is crazy to think. But overall, it just kind of was a bit for me. Matt P, you missed a lot of E3. How are you feeling?
Yeah. Well, I caught up on a lot of it, and look, I think you're right. I think 2021 has been a very strange year. 2020 as well, right? Like, it's easier than ever to be a part of E3. It's making a virtual show, although a hell of a lot of work goes into it. It's a different ball game to doing a live show. It's like technically easier to create a live show, right? Like the ability is there to Zoom with somebody and interview them and then make a live show out of that.
Yep.
But it's been harder than ever to produce games in the past couple of years because everybody's moved to this working from home thing. And so there is this bit of a lag of like, we can do a live show. Do we have anything to show at it? Maybe not, right? Like even Breath of the Wild, right, coming out, which is a big announcement for a lot of people, and obviously not Xbox related, but you get what I'm saying. Like, they didn't actually show much of that game. Like, it's out next year, right? It was all of E3 was 2022, and it's like
the most hype announcement Nintendo had was Super Mario Party. All right, Superstar Mario Party, whatever it's called. Don't even get me started with them, lot. All right, don't even get me started. Crash, we covered it. We watched most of it. How were you feeling about E3?
I think I kind of echo your sentiments to a degree on where it was kind of a dud, but I don't know if I blame any of the companies.
No, nor was I was just sad. It just didn't live up to what I expected. And I think between all of us, I had the lowest expectations.
Yeah.
Like, I had no hype. I set my expectations perfectly fine of like, just give me good shows, fine shows, okay shows. And even that was underwhelming for most of the things. I think what the number one, I don't mean to call anybody out, but I have to. E3, as in E3, not, and let me make this very clear, not the hosts, not the production, none of that. All of that was fantastic. But what E3 was able to get from publishers, oh God, you shouldn't have bothered. You shouldn't have bothered. You literally was we've always said E3 is like an ad, right? It's an advert. People have said that you shouldn't be getting excited for adverts. And it's like, well, shut up. We get excited for Super Bowl adverts, we'll do what we want, right? But E3 showing was literally an advert. Gearbox's showing was horrendous. Capcom, terrible. Who else was there? Was part of theirs. Back 4 Blood was okay. Bandai apparently. I didn't even bother watching. I had already switched my brain off at that point. The only one that I really liked, and maybe because it benefits me in a way, but also shines a light on things that need to be shined on, which was Take-Two's, because they had a diversity panel. They didn't show games, but they didn't really hype anything up, but they just sort of shocked people with the fact of like, people turn up expecting something, and then they got a panel of a bunch of black people talking about the industry, and it was like, huh, this wasn't what we was expecting. So shout out to them. But yeah, E3, you dropped the ball. You really dropped the ball. You're from a media perspective, the Portal thing was a mess, an absolute mess. I didn't know how to cover E3 through that at all. So do you know what? I just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, what you had produced in terms of content that you were showing us, the audience, was extremely lackluster and boring. Which, again, I don't know if I can really blame them, because they can only put out there what they are given. So, but it was like Gearbox's show. I know that's the one that sticks out in my brain, which was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get to see a deep dive into Tiny Tina's game. And it was literally just the exact same trailer that we'd already seen.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said about people being 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right? And I think E3 themselves were the same. I think that everybody kind of has this feeling like, oh, but next year we'll be back to normal. Like, do we need to invest that much into the app and the portal and like this way of doing things if next year we're back to normal? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And so like it did feel a bit like, and like we keep saying, I know there are people who worked really hard on this stuff.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like anybody really was 100% committed. I think there probably is that feeling of, well, why don't we just plan and keep putting effort into what next year will be? Where hopefully games will be coming a lot sooner and, all those kinds of things.
I kind of disagree with that. I think we have to remember that we just went through a pandemic. It's like the amount studios had to show is going to be not. I think the pandemic hit the industry a lot harder than we assumed. And we already assumed, at least here, that the pandemic hit the industry. Yeah. I think it hit it a lot harder than we assumed. And then you also have to remember this is post-Cyberpunk. And I do think that's going to have a ripple effect on what's shown and how it's shown and when it's shown. Because that turned out atrocious. And I think every developer, especially if you're a big developer and you have something cool to show, you're like, I don't want to show this too early. I don't want to sell it the wrong way, because when it comes out, and if it comes out and it's poor and it's not a correct representation, that could really hurt us, at least right now, so close to Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Do you think, this is a bit crazy, but like, do you think we would have, if Cyberpunk had never existed, we would have seen gameplay of Starfield at E3?
No.
Do you think that was like a major consideration? No?
Nope. I think it played a part in, like Christian, and I do agree in terms of like companies are going to be gun shy now about what they show and how early they show things, and I'm happy for that. And my biggest critique of Xbox's showcase was, it was a little bit CG heavy, and if everything they showed at their show is tonally as good as what the CG trailers are showing they're going to be, Xbox are going to have a ridiculous couple of years ahead of them, right? Like, It was a fantastic show, and people, Ryan McCaffrey put up a thread of like, oh, what did you rank it, A, B, C, D? And I was like, oh, B. Like, it was the best thing for Game Pass, and for the conversation around Xbox, fantastic. Like, the way I'm seeing people talk about Xbox now, it reminds me of the 360 days. Like, that's how much people are running to GameStops and Game to get Xboxes. It's that, like, oh, maybe I will get in this, because they did such a great job of showing everything, in the whole 27 games that we're showing are in Game Pass. Yeah. It was like, oh, I should probably have one of these machines, or a PC. Like, I should, and the PC's way more expensive. But yeah, I think the whole being gun shy makes sense. But no, I think Starfield 100% wasn't. It's not ready. It's not ready to be shown yet. I think Xbox had to have this CG trailer. They had to put it down and be like, it's exclusive. And then they had to keep saying exclusive. Yeah. And that's how they've now won a lot of people over. But no, I don't think Cyberpunk is the reason why we didn't get gameplay. I don't think, no.
Yeah, I didn't really believe it either. Just thought it would be an interesting talking point. But yeah, like I totally agree with what you were saying. And I think this is the best, so far, the best way that Xbox have really pushed and shown off Game Pass. We're going to show you 30 games today, and 27 of them are day one on Game Pass, and really helping people understand that. I think this is the best version of that they've done so far.
What was each of our favorite announcements at Xbox's show specifically? Because we haven't been able to speak about it with you, Matt. Like, what was your favorite thing that was shown at the showcase?
A huge surprise to me, but Forza. Like I've never been a big racing fan, and just watching that, even watching it on stream. No, sorry, I'm chatting. I didn't watch it on stream. I didn't watch it live. I watched it after the fact. So I was watching their replay of the stream.
Yeah.
And as soon as they started showing it, I jumped out to go watch the like proper 4K version on my TV, and that I don't understand. Like when they were talking about shooting the sky at 12K to put it into the game, I was like, oh my god! Maybe I'm the only person who cares about that, but that is insane. That is absolutely mental.
You're definitely not the only person. You're definitely not the only person.
And then as soon as I finished watching that trailer, like I say, I've never played a Forza game, but I went to Game Pass, installed Forza Horizon 4, and I've been playing that and getting into it. I've never been a racing game fan, but that showing got me so excited about that game. It is absolutely stunning, and makes me want a Series X even more than my Little S now. So we'll see how that goes come November.
My Xbox in the audience, I told them both they didn't want to listen. They didn't want to listen to me. Crash keeps pretending he doesn't care.
I'm fine.
He does. Deep down, he does. He does. Don't worry about what he says. Don't worry about what his words are saying. His words mean nothing. But trust me,
you're not going to be able to fully appreciate those 12K skies, Crash.
Yeah, you're right. On my 1440p monitor, I'm gonna enjoy the 12K skies.
To move us off to another question, but we'll come back to this question. Obviously, Playground are making Fable, and look how good Forza looks. Does that not give us all so much hope that Fable is going to, even if Fable ends up being a trash game, like even if that is the case, which I don't think it will be, but even if that was the case, it will be a beautiful looking trash game. Does that not all give us hope? It does me anyway. Just looking at, someone put up a screenshot on Twitter where it was like Forza Horizon 1 versus Forza Horizon 5, and was like, oh, where it started and where we are now. And I was just like, oh my god, the difference is ridiculous. And like now I'm like, oh, Fable's world could look ridiculous as well. And I'm, oh man, so excited for that.
I agree. We did talk a little bit about but Forza does cars very well and environments very well, but do they do characters well, right?
No,
and going back to Forza,
forget the car.
Horizon
take the
4,
car out of
it's
it.
rough.
Literally lift the car out and get rid of the car.
Yeah.
And then just look at the world that they've built.
Sure. The world is one thing, but the characters, look, and Forza Horizon 4 is a very old game, and they didn't have to put the effort into the characters in that game and the way you were carried. But it's rough. That is such a huge step down.
But in the same breath, you're not focusing on that character
100%.
is like, hey, we have to have a character to stand on the podium. Somebody go and make that. Compared to when there's this character's our focus. I don't know. It gets me excited and gets me very happy for where Fable could be. Chris, you were going to say something though, please.
Do we think that they go with the super realistic look that Forza goes for, or do you think they go more of a cartoony route? Because I feel like
realistic.
I kind of hope they go.
Not what Fable is.
I kind of hope they go sort of a little bit of a cartoony route. And I'm not talking about I'm talking more so in character design aspects, because I feel like Matt's issue isn't as big of an issue if you go more of a cartoony route. I feel like it would be easier for them to do than go for these hyper realistic character models. So I'm not really too worried about that, but yeah, Forza looked absolutely gorgeous. I am incredibly excited to finally see Fable whenever they have something to show for it, because I do think, whether, like you said, whether it's good or not, it is going to be a gorgeous game.
As early as the only thing from Fable that we've seen is, right, that CG trailer, it kind of felt like, to me at least, that they're trying to toe that line between
both
cartoony, fantastical, and ultra realistic. Remember the water looking particularly spectacular in that Fable CGI trailer, and it's so hard to extrapolate what that game is going to be from that CGI trailer, right? It's so far off. But yeah, I think probably they're aiming for some sort of happy middle ground, and whatever that looks like will be fascinating to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. But to bring the question back, Crash, what was the favorite thing that you saw at Xbox's showing?
I'm torn between two things.
Ooh.
One being Halo. I really, really, really liked what we saw of Halo at the conference. I thought the multiplayer looked incredible. The grappling, hooking a rocket launcher, the grenading a sword to yourself, all the grapple hook stuff, all looked fantastic. And then also Redfall, which looked, for a CG trailer, looked absolutely fantastic. And I understand it's just CG, but I just felt like the aesthetic, the tone they were setting up, and all that for the whole universe that they're creating there just looked fantastic. And I'm just like, I want to be in this universe. Whether the game will be great or not, too far out to tell. We haven't really seen any gameplay, so
yeah. My thing, I'm with you. Redfall for me, I think, was the thing that watching the characters interact with each other. I'm someone that I enjoy zombies. I enjoy vampires as well. As I said in my video that I put out on my channel, is like I watch Twilight and Vampire Diaries and I know that sounds really stupid, but like that's how much I'm into like vampires. Like I watch very like not amazing vampire stuff just because I enjoy the world of vampires.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and obviously True Blood was huge back in the day, and I watched that, and yeah, I'm into it. So that alone was like, oh, I'm excited for this. And then learning we sort of know a little bit more about it now in terms of like 4-player co-op shooter. We think it's sort of in the realm of like a Left 4 Dead. But I'm hoping it's all of that plus, like you said, Kresh, the character which was like reloading the gun with her. I don't know her exact name, but unfortunately it's skipping my brain now. But reloading the gun with her magic and all of those bits and bobs put together, I was like, if the gameplay can even match this 50%, we're in for a fun game. And I know it's easy to say, and it's like kind of a little bit redundant to say, but it's like we spoke about it before. It's like that barrier to entry now for Xbox games is so crazy. Even if you don't own Game Pass right this precise second, which I think you're crazy if you don't, but if you don't, when a game comes out, knowing that you can get in for a month for £10 or whatever it is in the equivalent of dollars is wild to me. Like, it's actually crazy to think. Like, new game drops, I put £10 down, I play it for 4 weeks, my subscription runs out, I don't worry about it. Like, it's like, okay, cool, I'll wait for the next big game to come out, and the next big game to come out. And the fact that I know that all these games are coming out, and I don't have to worry about them costing, and again, I know I'm talking from a position of privilege because I get games codes usually for everything, but I'm talking about everybody now, of like not having to worry about, oh, I need £70 to pay that, which we know Xbox games are not 70, but not having that in your brain is crazy to me.
100%. So, and anecdotally, from the same sort of point of view, like I haven't pulled the trigger on buying Ratchet and Clank yet because I'm in my head, I'm like, I don't have time to play this game right now, and it's 70 quid's a lot. And so I'm going to wait until I have like a weekend where I know, okay, I can dump some time into this game now. That might be in 3-4 months, then maybe the game will be on sale there. So I'm not going to pull the trigger and buy it right now.
Yeah.
But for Game Pass, I'm paying 100 quid a year, and I just that doesn't even cross my mind. Do you know what I mean? Like the games come out, like I've pre-installed loads of games right now that I'm looking forward to coming out in the next few weeks. So yeah. It's a big difference.
Credit where credit is due, though, with Ratchet, just because we're on the topic. It's a phenomenal game. And Xbox currently don't have anything on... Xbox currently don't have a game like that on the platform yet. Like, in this new... Even in the Phil Spencer era of Xbox. It's all well and good having these great games, great to good games. They do need to get some amazing to fantastic games, for me. Like, it's playing every time I play my PlayStation, it feels like I'm playing a blockbuster title every single time, which, let's not get it twisted, Xbox is the system I play on every single day, and I play all of my third parties on them, and they're great to good experiences. But anytime I turn the PS5 on, I am playing a next gen game. It feels like even if it does come to previous platforms and stuff like that, they have up their level to another level already. Like Ratchet is a great game, so you got to give credit where credit is due, in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, who's got the official points then? Who has them? Matt, have you got them? What's going on?
I've got the spreadsheet up here. We haven't tallied them up yet.
Okay.
So should we very quickly try and run through this? Very quickly. So we've already covered some of these on other ones, but I'll just very quickly. Summer Game Fest, I scored a 1/4 point for saying that Among Us 2 would come out. We got some Among Us DLC, so we decided to give me a 1/4 point for that. Crash also got a 1/4 point for saying Bandai Namco give a release date for Digimon, which they didn't, but they did give a release date for Elden Ring, and so I guess we gave him a 1/4 point for that. And Fixer scored 1.5 points for Kojima tease and new Elden Ring gameplay. You said Kojima tease with Xbox marketing. You didn't get the Xbox marketing bit.
That's the
Kojima
right?
was there.
Oh, the half. That was
so
the half. Right?
You got a half
Kojima
for that. We give you a half for that.
Yeah.
We give you a half for that. So then moving on, we're going to try and rattle through these quick. Square Enix. I said we don't see Black Panther. We do see Spider-Man, and it makes me sad. Kresh, on the other hand, said there was a big focus on Black Panther and Wakanda. And this is where the Avengers dies. I'm willing to give Kresh the full point for that. We did see Black Panther.
Yep.
You could argue big focus is a strong term to put in there, but I'm happy to give you the point, Crash.
In Crash's defense, it was the biggest focus other than the Guardians game.
Exactly.
So
that is
I'll
true.
give it to him.
That Guardians game looked sick, by the way, but we're not going to talk about that too much.
Well,
okay, cool. Fix, you said there would be a Final Fantasy 16 deep dive.
Yeah. I was extremely upset. Dude, so obviously I'm a new Final Fantasy fan, right? So for me, now I'm like, anything Final Fantasy, I'm like, give it to me. Other than the Origins, which Crash will talk about in a little bit, because that game looks like a PS3 game. But I was like, yo, I'm guaranteed to get some online content, right? Because every time I watch these damn shows, I'm like, oh, they show this game that I don't give a crap about. Now I'm bloody playing the game. They're like, yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that stuff. I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, I was upset. What else did I say?
Your second guess was that new Outriders update story DLC that you must pay for will be announced.
Nope.
Negative. No, unfortunately
there was no
not.
Outriders at all, right?
Don't think so.
There was a little hype trailer, maybe? I don't know.
I think
maybe
it was in the sizzle reel.
Yeah, that's what I kind of meant.
No, I don't count that.
Okay. Yeah.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Crash then said new Kingdom Hearts game with a confusing name. Nope.
It was a Final Fantasy game with a confusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not giving you any points, so I'm sorry.
No, I don't want any points.
And then I said new Tomb Raider mobile game. Nope. I then said new Tomb Raider movie trailer. Nope. New Deus Ex game, Crash said, could be a remake or a sequel. Nope. And then Fix, your final guess here was Life is Strange True Color character deep dive. Download a spin-off 1 episode right now.
Damn it. I was close.
I think that's half a point.
We got some more. I didn't need this. I didn't need what they showed, but we did get more of True Colors. So shout out to me. I couldn't hear any of it because I watched the non-copyright version of Square Enix, but it looked amazing, so can't wait for that game, but can't wait to be able to hear that game. That should be fun.
That was a weird half step, right? So for people who don't know, that there were 2 Square Enix conferences, one that had copyright-free music or dead silence.
No, there weren't no copyright-free music.
For the Guardians trailer, they did copyright-free music, right?
Nope, silent.
No, it was copyright-free music.
Was
the one I watched had copyright-free music, yeah.
See, I must have tuned it out.
Probably.
Okay, my bad. Carry on.
And a lot of the other music, which would have been an issue for streamers who were reacting, was just silenced, and so it was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? But there we go.
Square Enix handled it the best.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they didn't. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about.
Cool.
We should do. I feel like we should. Maybe that's a feature video we should talk about. We'll get onto that. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I like it. So Crash, you score 1 point. Fix scores half a point for Square Enix. Koch Media was next. We only needed 2 guesses each for
this.
God. Thank God, indeed. I said Man Eater 2 would be teased.
Was
Didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I didn't finish it. It was
No, it was not.
It was so bad.
I didn't finish the conference either. Should we just not score for these? Like, did anybody score anything? Crash, you said Dead Island 2
we didn't
release
get that.
window. We didn't get that. Fix, you said new Saints Row game, full co-op, Saints Row.
Because this is the bullcrap, yeah? Because we made our announcements, and then they literally came out a day after and was like, yeah, no, we're not going to be showing any of this stuff.
Yeah. I said Saints Row Battle Royale. Crash said new IP shown off third-person action. I don't think so, right?
I'm sure that of the 12 things they showed, I'm sure one of them had to be third-person action. That's like a hovery third-person game thing. I don't want to give you anything. If you can't name the game, you don't get a point.
I agree with that.
Oh, wow. They showed off that one game.
If name it.
That one
I
game.
get a point.
One game.
Carry on. Nope.
No. Your final guess there, Crash, was new co-op Metro with Xbox marketing, which I don't think happened either.
Nope.
Moving on.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh, we don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah. We'll skip past that then. No points there. Ubisoft conference. I said we will see Sam Fisher, but it's not in Splinter Cell.
Nope.
Not at the Ubi conference, but it did happen, didn't it, at E3? Netflix? Did they show off some Sam Fisher stuff?
Netflix did.
Yeah.
You're right. But
Okay.
no, we didn't. No. Nope.
I think it's worth a quarter of a point,
Nope.
don't you think?
No,
Xbox
absolutely not.
It wasn't even in the same showcase.
I'm falling behind, guys. I'm trying to scramble for points, okay? Crash said a brand new Splinter Cell game. Let's all laugh at Crash. Please. Bix, you said Skull and Bones release date.
Yo, what the hell is going on with Skull and Bones? What the hell is going on with Skull and Bones? Like, seriously. Madness.
No chance
Madness.
that game ever comes out.
Yeah, well.
My next prediction might actually require me to go do a little bit of research. I said we would see 8+ minutes of Riders Republic.
Plus.
Was it not?
Eight.
Did
Nope.
you keep a track?
It's like 5.
I checked it.
Yeah.
God damn
It's
it.
like 5 minutes. A little over 5.
I'm not even willing to give you half
fair
a
enough.
point. Because
No,
you
I
shouldn't
don't
have went
deserve
so
it.
exact, you know?
I don't deserve it. Well, if I just predicted
like I
that we
got
saw
no
Riders
points.
Republic, though, that would have been like,
I mean, we would have
That'd have
wrecked
been-
you,
Yeah.
but you would have got a point.
yeah. No, okay, fair enough. Crash said we get a release date for Rainbow Six Quarantine.
We did.
Now, we did, but they've renamed the game. And
No, he
Crash
gets the
specifically
point.
said Rainbow
He
Six
gets the
Quarantine.
point. He gets the point.
Don't.
Whole
Fine.
point. One whole point for Crash.
I'll give him the point. Fine.
That was the fight over you not knowing what.
Drag me down with it.
You
Listen,
should have done your
guys.
journalistic integrity, and you should have tracked down the name before anybody else knew. You should have known, all right?
If I wasn't actively falling down the scoreboard so quickly, I would be much happier to give people points. But I'm getting left in the dust here, and I don't like it. Okay, Crash. Fix. Then you said Division Heartlands gameplay.
Bro, that's again why
That was a dunk. That should have been a dunk.
I've literally alley-ooped the ball to myself and slammed it behind my head, and still didn't get a. What? I don't know. Yeah, carry on.
Didn't happen. I then said For Honor 2 would be announced, which we did not get. This one, maybe Crash, you know the answer, but I would need to do some research. 3 free-to-play games, not including mobile games, were shown off. No? You didn't get it?
Nope.
I think so.
Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. And then probably the prediction that did not come true that breaks my heart the most, Fix's last prediction for this one was the new South Park game, a sequel to Fractured But Whole, would be announced.
Bro.
I didn't expect it. I would have been incredibly excited if it did happen.
I
but
did, but I can't
c'est
say
la vie.
why. Is all I'm saying.
Oof.
I don't
It's,
know any. Just before anyone thinks anything, I know nothing. Just off of pure speculation, but I cannot speak the reason of why because I've signed an NDA. But I'm just like, oh man,
Yeah. One day, maybe. One day.
maybe.
On to the big ones then, the Xbox conference. This is where I did give myself a little bit of a slam dunk, easy first prediction. I said Starfield would be announced as an Xbox console exclusive, and we get a 2022 release window.
Yep.
We actually got a full-on release date. So
Which is?
I mean, I don't want to argue myself out of a couple of points here, but you could argue that me saying 2020 release window is actually bad. It was 11/11/2022, right?
Something like that.
Is that right?
Yep.
You get no points for that, Matt.
Oh, really? Screw you, Crash. I'm doing scores. I'm giving myself the whole point. And I'm definitely not giving you a point for your first Xbox prediction, Crash, which was Killer Instinct sequel. Will be shown off.
Why you gotta word
That's
it
a
like
meme.
that?
Do you know what? We should have given
Why
Crash
gotta
extra
word it like
prediction because that's his meme prediction every year. I feel bad for him even wasting a prediction on that. But we
Didn't
don't
have to,
get
did
no
it?
point.
Next year.
No point. Fix, you said big grounded update with lots of story coverage is what I have written down here.
Yeah, that's what I said. No, I was, I mean, I liked what they showed of Grounded. It wasn't big and it wasn't story. So,
What, are we saying half a point for that?
no, not
Quarter
even
of a
half.
point.
You want to go? Wow, okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
dude.
Fair enough.
When I was speaking, we were gonna get like a. What they showed was cool, but they were like, "Yeah, we've added sitting." I'm like, okay, not quite big like I wanted, you know. So
Yeah.
quarter. I couldn't take a half on that. I'm a man of principle. Come on.
Fair enough. I said we'll get Halo. We'll get some sort of way of playing Halo Infinite today, which didn't happen. But they did say that you can sign up to their thing, and they'll do a beta at some point. And maybe if you sign up, you might get into the beta. Or no,
You're
a quarter of a point.
Scratching away, son. Just keep moving on.
Is it worth a quarter of a point? Okay,
Matt
fine.
really wants to win. Maybe we give him a quarter of a point. Here.
No.
Give the dog a bone.
The dog's getting no
Give the
bone
dog
from
a
me.
bone.
Let me tell you.
Fine. Crash then said Halo Infinite would have a battle royale.
So I have a gripe with what you
Ooh.
wrote down. I did mention that Halo would have a battle royale, but before the Halo will have a battle royale part comes, Halo will have a multiplayer focus.
Oh, did you?
So I'm
really
not saying
say
I get
that?
a full point. Yeah.
Somebody rewind the tape. That's not what I've got
Unless
written down.
somebody from the audience goes back and confirms it, and there's only one person I trust to do that, which is Sarah Squid. If she doesn't do it, you get no point. You get nothing. Got it?
Well, look, I think best case scenario there, you get a half a point.
It gets nothing.
If we can confirm
gets
that you
nothing.
go back and
I'm
get
trying to get anything. Matt,
gets
you're trying to get anything you want. Why are you giving me some?
No,
Why
I-
you get
I
some
mean-
that
when
I'm
shit?
trying to get some
what the hell?
points.
Like, what the hell? Come on.
I don't want to lose, but at the end of the day, the integrity of the game matters more, you know?
No,
So-
it doesn't. You're just trying to get a quarter of a point.
Okay, well then Fix then said new Dead Rising game would be announced, I guess.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, nothing. I don't know how I was bullied into this, but we apparently this is my prediction. We will see Elden Ring with a release window, and then I've put June 17th to the 24th. You guys, I don't even remember you guys making me pick a week, but I assume I was bullied into that.
Remember?
This?
So I guess I only get half a point.
No, you get nothing.
Wasn't that Xbox?
Where Xbox? Where's
Wow.
my man movie? Man, he's like, yeah, man, we saw Elden Ring. Yeah, at Summer Game Fest.
Like you say,
Made
we're
the
all a little
prediction
bit.
over there.
We're all
We're a
in a
little
little
bit-
bit of E3 hungover funk right now.
100%, Yes.
I don't remember which one was which.
No, it's
I don't get nothing for that. All
no,
right,
you
fine.
get nothing.
Fine.
Matt's
Fine.
face.
Crash again predicted new Splinter Cell game. We'll move on quickly.
Yep.
Compulsion. If this is Fixer prediction.
Yeah.
Compulsion Games new game. Compulsion's Games new game. Open world, first person, no survival.
Where the hell was it?
Yeah, we don't
We saw
know.
no Compulsion.
Yeah.
We still don't know what they're working on. Their last game was We Happy Few.
We
Why?
never
It's been a
will.
while.
We never will know.
Well, then Xbox bought a studio and we're like, yeah, don't worry about putting out any games.
Yeah, just
You guys come to
chill.
work every day. You guys don't have to do anything. Just
Don't
sit
do
there.
It's like, we got you.
Yeah,
we just
just-
went. We
just
bought
chill.
you just so we could put you on the sizzle reel of the studios we own. Okay.
100%. 100%. I said then Dwayne The Rock Johnson would be featured in some form or fashion. Didn't happen.
No.
We got a little bit crazy here at the end. Crash said Scalebound is back from the dead.
Yep. No, that didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Nope.
Fix said Xbox have acquired a new Japanese studio working on a turn-based RPG.
Bro, we only got like one Japanese of new games, right? And it was the games I couldn't pronounce, and I was like, where the hell's Persona?
Yeah, Persona was a bit of a mess again.
Bit dead. What's left?
I then said,
is that it? Oh, okay.
No, we got one more each. I said Fable has cast somebody from the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh yeah.
We didn't see anything from Fable at all. And then Kresh said avowed gameplay and release window.
Nope.
And then Final Fantasy VII Remake comes to Game Pass today was Fix's prediction, which I think we said at the time.
I'm so annoyed for Xbox fans. I'm so annoyed for Xbox fans when it comes to Final Fantasy VII. Where the hell is Final Fantasy VII for Xbox fans? Crash, where is it?
Never come out.
No, don't say that. You're gonna break
If
a lot
you
of
say
people's
it's never coming out.
Crash.
People can be surprised when it does, and they'll be excited.
I think you forget how big our audience is now. You used to be able to say that sort of stuff. People listen to this.
Anymore.
Don't say that. You can't do that to people. Don't do that.
That was just a joke, everybody.
Don't do that. Don't do that to people. People are sitting in their cars right now, eating their lunch, and like, did he just say it's never coming? Now you're gonna get clipped up.
Sure, it'll come one
Put
day.
it on Twitter. You're gonna get cancelled. Like, people are gonna quote us. Like, come on, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Here's my only thing. I don't know if they'll release it before they can release Intergrade at this point.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if
they
will
will
release. Yeah,
but that means another year, isn't it?
a year. I think it's 6 months.
Okay, so another 6
That
months.
yeah.
Bro. I'm sorry, go play it on PS4. If you have a PS4, go play it on PS4. Because it's that good. Like, you have to play it. It's that good. Damn. Is that everyone, Matt?
So, that is everything. And the scores have been tallied.
Start
surprise,
from the bottom.
surprise.
Who come last? Tell us who come last.
Surprise, surprise. In third place, with a score of 1.25 points, 1.25, is me.
Okay.
I scored 1.25 points. And then, in what I think will be a bit of a shocking upset for some people, in joint first place
What?
is Crash and Fix, both scoring 2.25 points.
So you're telling me if Sarah Squid goes back and Chris said multiplayer focused, and then we have an argument about him getting half a point, I'm gonna lose?
What I'm saying is, it's up to Sarah Squid right now of who she thinks won this E3.
Either a tie or I won.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, yeah. The best you can hope for here, Fix, is a tie.
I'd rather lose.
We tied last year as well, Fix. I don't know if you
Because
remember.
we got 0.
No, we both got like half a point or something like that.
I was going to say, at least we all got on the scoreboard.
2.25.
2.25. Yeah, so yeah, we gave you 0.25 for the ground.
You got a majority of your points off the one conference. What was it? The
Summer Game Fest. Yeah,
conference?
you got 1.5 points off Summer Game Fest. Yeah.
Me and Jeff talk. We talk. Don't worry about what our relationship's like. Me and Jeff
Although all the deets.
like that.
Crash did score no points whatsoever on the Xbox conference. And as an Xbox podcast, you could argue that, like, well,
the one where he had 5 predictions, he couldn't get one right.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
Okay, wait. In my defense, 2 of my predictions were meme predictions.
Yeah.
What, Splinter Cell and Killer Instinct, I suppose.
Also, I thought Avowed we'd get something for Avowed, so I was like, I'll get part of a point there. We got absolutely nothing.
Mad.
Yeah.
Mad. Okay. Well done. I'm proud of everyone. Congratulations.
Me too. That was fun.
Let's jump into Fix the Sack. We got some questions from this week. Oh, Matt, you want to jump? You gonna jump in? You can do that, Taylor.
Yeah, I can do. I collated these, so I've rewritten them and reworded them ever so slightly. Also, I mean, they're borderline slanderous, basically just attacks at me, and so yeah, I mean, we'll see how this goes. Eldo was says, "Hey all," that's what I said. Yeah. Hey all, first of all, great job on the E3 coverage. From what I managed to see, it was a great job done by all. Well, except Matt P, who ducked out on the most important conference. I would be keen. I would be keen to get the panel's thoughts on something that I am struggling to get my head around. Why, with the exclusivity of Starfield, has the internet become rather salty? I don't get it. I don't remember people being upset that God of War and Spider-Man are exclusive. So why are people so upset that Starfield is an Xbox exclusive?
Because it's Bethesda. And people, like, whether we want to accept it or not, people really were attached to Bethesda and people liked Bethesda. And when you find out, like, if you're a super hardcore PlayStation fan, and maybe you can only get one console and you got the PS5, and now you can't get Starfield and you won't be able to play it, that's going to rub you the wrong way. Also, fanboyism. Stupid.
Because the internet is full of idiots. That's why. Because as much as we all like to pretend that people on the internet are nice people, and sometimes they are, the majority of the time, people on the internet are a bunch of arseholes. And unfortunately, that's the truth. So, I mean, the point is that Xbox have a smaller audience than PlayStation currently. That's just facts. And with that, means anything that you do is going to get anything that you do that is negative towards the larger fan base is going to get a negative reaction from said larger fan base. The thing that cracked me up the most is just the people of Xbox have got these same fanboys. Xbox have got no games. I'd never buy an Xbox. They don't have any games. Xbox gets games. How dare Xbox get games? How dare they be exclusive? What? What is wrong with these people? It baffles me. Absolutely baffles me. It just comes down to the vocal minority, we hope. And I hope that, look, we all knew this was coming, right? I think... I say that. I remember us having a conversation about how I personally thought all of these games would actually come to PlayStation 5 at a £70 price point, which I didn't want to happen, but I thought that was what was going to happen. Jesus words. But yeah, the internet's idiots. That's why this is the case, and that's why we see this stupidity and the arguments, and that's why you see, unfortunately, who was it? It was Pete Hines come out and apologize to fans that their games are now exclusive on Xbox. That as a whole, I have no problem with him saying that. It is still a little bit weird, though, if I'm honest. From an Xbox point of view, it's weird.
He made a follow that clarifies what he was saying a lot better, in which that he was like, I'm just sorry to the fans who are our big fans that can't play the games now. I'm sorry for them. And he was like, I don't really apologize. The games are exclusive. That's just how it works. Like, yeah, you got to deal with that. So I do think his follow-up to that was a little bit better and cleared that up quite a bit.
But why even put yourself in that position? Like,
yeah.
Again, like, we all say things, obviously, and we shoot from the hip sometimes, but when you're Pete Hines at Bethesda and you've just signed a £4.5 billion deal with one of the biggest companies in the world, being Microsoft, like, it just seems weird to come out and be like, oh, even if you have to word it a certain way, just don't. It's better off to say nothing at all, right? Than say something that's gonna mess you up long term. So, and that's something that I'm learning. So yeah,
I think it is also interesting that, yes, this is an Xbox console exclusive, but it's also coming to PC. It's also coming to xCloud potentially, right? In some sort of formal fashion. You could play it on an iPad, and you play it. You know, what I kind of mean there is, like, if you have the internet connection and an iPad or an iPhone or there is still a barrier there. But there are less barriers than if it was exclusive on PS5, where it's locked to PS5 and that is it. And so, yeah, and then rumors, I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, that they're bringing xCloud to Xbox One X as well, right? And that you'd be able to play that far back.
Yeah.
And so, and it becomes a point then of, okay, by the time Starfield comes out, how much are you going to be able to pick up an Xbox One X for? And then Game Pass for a month, and all of a sudden you're playing it for the price of potentially what a $70 game would cost you anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe it will be quite that cheap. But
to play devil's advocate from a Sony point of view, which is, but I don't get trophies, and I don't get the uber fast load times that the SSD has, and I don't get to play it in the place of where I prefer to play. I don't get to play on the controller that I want. I don't like all of those things. I'm not. If you are just someone that is generally upset it's not coming to PlayStation, I am not calling you out. I'm talking about the specific fanboys that are just absolutely horrible human beings, and I don't have time for it in my life anymore. Now it's just quick blocks. I got called some horrible names over E3 because I put out a tweet saying that Xbox is the best place to play in terms of if you're broke. If you're someone that grew up the way I grew up, council estate and stuff like that. Like, imagine I said to my mum, "Hey mum, £10 a month, I can have every single brand new Xbox game." My mum would have been like, "Here is £10 a month." Like, and that still would have been a lot of money to my mum, and still would be today. But it would have been a case of my mum would never have had to say no to me. I could have had
that's the difference, right?
And that's what I put in the tweet. And yet I still had like horrible people call me things, and I was just like, oh yeah, fanboys are gonna fanboy, so just leave them to it. I think the problem is what we do is we actually talk about them too much, and we actually bring it up too much. We focus on it too much, and me personally, I'm someone that does it. I bring it up often as well, so it's not a like, it's a collective us thing as in the world. Like, if we just focus on the positive people, we wouldn't even have to think about them, but we always think about them. Just don't worry about them.
No, I think you're right. Speaking of people calling other people horrible names, next up, Sarah Squid69. Why does Matt P hate us? It was our first E3 with Mr. Matt P, and he decided to go on vacation with his loved ones because he scheduled it out before E3 dates had been revealed. I thought Matty was a part of the potato squad, but here in the delicious trenches of E3 news, Matty was nowhere to be seen. Did the community do something to upset Matty? Are we not good enough for him? Is he jealous that Fix and Crash are the one true pairing? As a concerned My Xbox and Me fan, I believe that we are owed some answers from Matty PP himself. Jokes aside, Crash and Fix, you crush it over E3. Keep up the good work, lads. She then asked a more serious question, but just we'll get to that in a second.
So why, Matt? Why did you do it?
Well, let's tackle it line by line, shall we? Why does Matt P hate us? I don't hate us, the collective term, just you, Sarah. Did the community do something to upset Matty? Again, no, not the community, just you, Sarah. And is he jealous that Fix and Crash are the 1-2 pairing? 100%. I think I've made that clear. There's an incredible amount of jealousy that keeps this podcast held together by string and duct tape.
Do you know what?
Go on, sorry, Fix.
Go on. When Crash wasn't on the show, he was in the comments saying, "Yeah, man, this show's so much better without me." When you're not on the show, you're like, "Yeah, this show's so much." I'm like, guys, I just need you guys both to be here, and like everything works, okay? Like, people like the show, they like all of us for our separate reasons. Like, just be here, you know? Like, Matt, like, just run it past HQ next time you want to try to book a holiday, though. Like, you can't just be doing that off the cuff, all right? Like, come on.
I understand. The timing was bad. I get it. No, look, in all seriousness, yeah, you guys crushed it over E3. Congratulations. It was awesome. 100%. And
we were there.
Yeah, I wish I was there.
We were there.
Also, I was quite drunk and wasn't paying attention.
Respect that.
Respect it. Sarah's real question was about the redesign of the Xbox cases. If you're not part of the Discord, you need to get on the Discord because she put the side-by-side of the previous Halo Infinite case and now I guess what they redesigned it to. It's mainly just graphical changes and stuff, and I guess the key art for the cover is a little bit bigger and more important, and there's kind of less busyness and less stuff going on. But yeah, asked us our thoughts on the new design of the Xbox Series X physical cases. Fix?
I mean, it looks cleaner, if we're being honest. I think it's a cleaner design with the white like bar instead of a bit thicker and the white line instead of the black bar, personally. But I mean, again, privileged position. I understand my privilege. I don't buy games very often anymore, and I don't have cases very often unless they're sent to me. If not, I'm all digital, so this doesn't really affect me. I'm not a collector and stuff like that, and even once I've had a game, I don't look at the case, so I don't really worry about this sort of thing. I get it, and I'm glad that it does look nicer for people that care about it. But for me personally, it's like, yeah, whatever. I'm a digital boy, so.
Like it's cleaner for me, but like I don't know, I don't like it as much. I think it's a little bit too clean. If that makes sense, it's like a little bit too empty, especially when it comes to the top portion. I feel like if they extended the white bar or whatever was there all the way across, it would look a little bit better. But besides that, still irrelevant to me because I don't get games physical. I go all digital.
The one thing I am a little bit concerned about, and maybe that's it says Xbox Series X and doesn't say anything about S, which
no, it does.
Where?
It's a Series X, and oh, you're right.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There's no way it's on Xbox One and it's not on Series S, right?
No, the game's on Series S, but I'm just saying.
But the fact it doesn't say that.
Why doesn't? It's a weird thing to have. You've got these two consoles out there, and you don't have the dash/S on it. It just, to me, that seems really weird, considering that people that buy games in stores still are going to be way more casual than someone who's buying digital codes, right? So it just seems like a weird thing to not have on it. Maybe it's just not on this mock-up. I don't know, but that does seem a little bit strange.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think probably what the discussion has been had is do we need to still say HDR? Do we still need to say 4K? And can we simplify this art a little bit by getting rid of some of that information, right? But yeah, I think it's something I hadn't noticed when you said, it no longer says Xbox Series S, although it doesn't actually look like, so Sarah's put both next to each other.
It doesn't on that one either.
It doesn't on the previous one either say anything about Series S. And so I guess nothing's really changed there. But yeah, like I think it's a way of them making the box art look cleaner, getting rid of some information they feel like they don't need on there anymore. And giving the key art a little more room to breathe, I guess. I don't really have an opinion on it either way, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
There we go. Should
we jump into what's been in our box?
Let's do it.
I play a little game that you may have heard of called Dead by Daylight. The Resident Evil event has officially started, the new series. Let me tell you something, my Xbox and me audience. I've never been so close to buying skins in a game in my life. I was going to buy every single Resident Evil skin they have in the Dead by Daylight store. And then I looked how much it was going to cost me.
Did you tally it up?
£37. I think it was maybe even a little bit more than that.
What does that get you? Talk me through it.
Chris skin.
Yeah.
Claire skin.
Sure.
Leon skin.
But you've already got a Leon skin, right?
A different Leon skin.
A different Leon, okay.
And a different Jill skin.
Okay. So for free, you get one Leon skin
for free,
and one.
You get nothing. You have for £10, you get Leon, Jill, and Nemesis.
Right.
So are those skins or are they like characters?
No, they're skins. Because the characters don't. They're skins. I believe. Oh no, they're definitely reskinning. So Chris reskins to Leon, I believe, and I think Claire reskins Jill, like, and vice versa. I think they're skins. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've got the information wrong. I'm pretty sure they are skins.
Sorry, go on, Crash.
To play devil's advocate for Dead by Daylight. When you do crossover content, there's usually like royalty fees and stuff like that have to be paid. So those skins are usually more expensive.
I 100% understand. I'm just saying, as somebody who couldn't give a crap about skins in any game ever, I've never been in a position where I'm like, am I about to drop $50 on skins? Like, and I'm like, I love Dead by Daylight. I think it's a fantastic game. I don't play it enough as I would like. But I'm like, I'm still sitting here with you right now going, when I log back on, I could easily buy. And the problem was, it worked out. It was like, well, I can't just buy one, because one was going to end up costing me like £25, and with some leftovers, it's like of the quid and stuff. And then I was like, oh, well, then maybe I'll get two. But then two worked out not enough. Then I couldn't. It was a whole thing. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm a bit lost, and I'm a bit concerned. And I'm like, this is how Crash felt with Smite. And all these other games that he plays, I'm like, it's weird because I've already bought the game on PC, and that's where I was like, okay, does the game have cross progression on PC and Xbox? And it doesn't. They're working on it, but your characters don't go over and all that stuff. And I was like, do you know what? No, I cannot do this. I cannot do this because I can see myself paying another £10 to buy the characters again on PC.
Yeah.
So I decided against it, but the game itself, a lot of fun. The new characters fit perfectly in its world. Haven't had a chance to actually play as Nemesis yet, or get the Raccoon City police station yet, which is a bummer. I was trying. Matt was in chat with me. Egg like, come on! I think I played about 5 or 6 matches. Just couldn't bloody get it. Because it's randomly generated the maps. But it was a lot of fun.
That map isn't locked behind a paywall then. That map is free to everybody playing.
I don't think any of the maps are ever locked behind paywalls.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm keen to jump into it because the thing about the trailer that got us really excited is how faithful the map recreation looked, aside from the characters and stuff. And so that I know that's something we both really want to see. So maybe we'll jump in some this weekend. Try and get it.
We are jumping in. Like, no, there's no if. We should shoot my Xbox. I already talked to Shotgun. He said he would edit it. We should all sit down for an hour or two, play an hour or two of Dead by Daylight, all record our face cams and put it together. Because you've actually never played it, right, Matt?
Yeah, no, I've never touched it. I've got it downloaded.
Perfect. It's like, we know how to play it because me and Chris have played. You don't know the game at all. I think that makes for a perfect dynamic between the three of us. If we can get a fourth involved, that would be amazing. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. You know.
Let's do it.
The other game I played, I'm back playing NBA 2K. I'm addicted. I love it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Every time I play this game, I'm like, why do I ever stop playing this game? Like, I just really enjoy it. I'm crossing over, Crash. I'm at the Lakers. It's me. There's Kawhi. There's LeBron. Who else do you think I got, Crash? I got a stacked team. Who else do you think I got?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
LaMelo Ball.
No, I couldn't get him. He's not in the career mode yet. I would though if I could.
Oh, is he not?
No, he's not in career mode. I don't believe so. Like, he's in the update for my team, but not the my team, which is like the ultimate team version. Who else have I got? I'm trying to think. Who's my big man? Oh man. Oh, Giannis. Yeah, Giannis as well. Got a stacked team. I'm destroying Crash. I'm dipping and diving. I'm dropping threes.
Playoffs.
What's new season? We are on a 17-game win streak right now. Not lost a game. 17 games. I'm dropping 40 a game, Crash. Call me Damian Lillard.
Wow, you're Damian Lillard fix. That's amazing.
Move on to what you guys have been playing. The audience cares way more about that. Matt, what have you been playing?
I finally finished the campaign for Outriders with my mates.
Oh, wow.
And jumped in. I know.
That's way later.
To be fair, that is us playing probably 4 hours every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And we finally got there. But the expeditions, the end game for that is the best part of that game by far. And we're probably enjoying it now more than ever. The thing that's weird about that game, right, is that, like, similar to a lot of other games, looter shooters of that style, you fight the same enemies over and over again, right?
Yeah.
And it feels very samey. But very early on in Outriders, you fight a giant lava spider, and it's the most interesting thing you fight out throughout that entire game, and you never see it again. It's more than willing to recycle every other enemy that you run into, except that boss, which is by far the most interesting thing of the game.
But think about it. Marvel Avengers did the same thing. Spoilers for Marvel Avengers. With the ending of, again, I'm giving you a second. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. You had your chance. With the MODOK ending, like, that whole boss fight could have easily been a boss that you replay and you replay and you replay.
Yeah.
And you know what? When games miss these tricks, I instantly go, oh, maybe Borderlands did get it right. You know? Like maybe because Borderlands bosses, like that game is designed for like legendary bosses and like same bosses that you fight and you fight over and over again. They drop better loot, and it's just weird. Games don't let you fight the boss again.
Yeah.
To be fair with Avengers, the MODOK boss fight is single player only.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly clunky.
Yes.
So I think I don't know anything, but I'm gonna assume that at one point they might have been like, maybe we could make this a boss fight you go back to, and they're like, it just isn't optimized well for one person. There's no way we can get 4 people on the screen.
Are like 4 frames per second when you play it single player. So imagine playing 4 player. Like
it'd be horrible.
Yeah, it would be nuts. But did you enjoy the story overall?
Of Outriders?
Yeah.
God, no. No, the story, I think, holds that game back a lot. Like, the idea of these expeditions, which are time trials, the quicker you complete them, the better. You're incentivized to get through these things quickly and strategize around that. And I think it's the best way to do it. Like, a looter shooter that is time-based is phenomenal for me. And I'm enjoying the expeditions far more than anything I did in the sort of campaign leading up to it. So, yeah. That's where I'm at with it.
Anything else you've been playing?
As mentioned earlier, Forza Horizon 4, been playing, and still on Resident Evil 8, and still thoroughly enjoying Resident Evil 8.
How are you still playing Resident Evil 8?
I'm going through now on the hardest difficulty, and I'm trying to get double S rank on all the mercenary runs.
Oh,
I love it.
I love how you've done more. I beat the game once and played there 1.5 times. I've played it, and I'm just like, I'll get back to this at some point when I can be bothered. Like, didn't touch mercenaries. Matt P's now like taking over my crown of like, I'm the Resident Evil guy. Like, gee, I'm like, what the hell? What's going on?
Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it?
How many playthroughs have you done at this point?
I'm on my 4th.
Okay. The game's once you know the game is very quick. I know
it was the same thing with.
It's pretty quick, yeah.
7.
Every
Resident
2 as
Evil
well.
game, honestly. To be honest with you, every Resident Evil game, once you know it, you know it.
I even like dipped my toe into the speedrunning world. Like, I was looking up Twitch streamers speedrunning and stuff. Yeah. But it seems like there's no and this was a couple of weeks ago. But it seemed like there was no real. Sorry,
you're playing on console, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got no choice.
Oh, I wasn't really looking at it as like, I'm gonna hold the world record for this. It was more like, on my 4th playthrough, is there stuff I can be doing? Are there little hints and tricks I can be taking here to like speed this up considerably? But it kind of seemed like there was no consensus on like, what is the speed run? I saw some people speed running up until you kill like the first major boss, and so it was like a 2-hour.
You're wrong.
And a half or thing. And I'm very willing to accept.
I literally sit there and watch. I watch Ray D and I watch Ulchlon and I watch Bark Soup, and they're all speedrunners, Resident Evil speedrunners on Twitch. So go follow them if you're into Resident Evil speedruns, and they know the optimal run. The only difference in this game is the upgrades. Because the game is so you have to start they do fresh saves as well, so you wouldn't have to worry about that on your run through, but they have to worry about like where to get money so they get enough money so they can upgrade the right guns to beat bosses the fastest and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Like, oh god, that headache to me was like, nope, not interested in that.
Do you know
off all that stuff? I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. Do you know off the top of your head like what the like ballpark run time is at the moment? No.
Last time the record was 1 hour and 52. Last time I
for the whole game.
Yeah.
Wow.
That will get
that's insane to me.
That's long still. That will get optimized even more.
I need to check it out. Now that I know it's like that low, I need to watch one.
Oh yeah. It's like those guys are amazing. They're amazing. Those are like people say to me often like, "Oh, who do you watch?" And like I literally go on Twitch to watch. Like other people watch for entertainment purposes, and I suppose it's still entertainment to me, right? Like, yeah. And that's who I watch. I watch those 3 all of the time. Love it. I'm a lurker,
I need to check it out then.
Serial lurker in their chats. So,
I need to check it out. But yeah, like we were saying, like I can't believe that I'm so into this game and still keep going back to it, and I love it. Yeah,
crazy. Crash.
Crazy.
What have you been playing, dude?
I played the Final Fantasy Origin demo.
Oh.
I forget what the full title of that game is. It's a palace something.
Let me have a look. Final Fantasy Origin. Nope. Wait. Oh, Strangers of Paradise. Final Fantasy
go.
Origins.
Yep, that's the name.
That's the
Not
name.
a weird name at all.
I can confirm as of today, no, as yesterday, it's not a sequel to Final Fantasy 1. Not a direct sequel, just so people are aware.
Yeah.
I would
played
pay
that.
good money to be a fly on the wall in a Final Fantasy title pitch meeting. Like where there were just a lot of people sat around like, what should we call the next Final Fantasy game? And that's what the decision is made to call it.
No, there's definitely you're disrespecting the Final Fantasy universe by saying that. I want you to know. Because there's definitely definitely been because I know for a fact there's definitely been thought that's got into it. It's just I'm not deep
100%.
enough into it to know.
100%.
So,
No. You
Makes sense
misunderstand
in
me.
retrospect.
Oh.
Like every single like weird title, even like the Kingdom Hearts ones that are, those are where you get like really weird titles. They make sense in retrospect once you've played those games. But as somebody who doesn't play those games or before you even play them, you just look at it and you're like, this just makes no sense.
100%. The reason I say I would pay good money is because I think the amount of thought being put in is insane. Not that there's just one person throwing words at a wall and coming up with a thing. No. I think the red string conspiracy board would be fascinating to look at for Paradise, blah blah Origins, whatever nonsense.
So, Crash, how is Final Fantasy Origins?
It does a lot of really cool stuff that I like. So it plays at its base very similar to Neo. If anybody's played that, it is very on par with that. It's made by the same team, so that shouldn't be a huge shocker.
Ninja Theory.
Yes, Ninja Theory. Yes,
I believe so. Let me check. I'll check it, but carry on.
I think correct. So the way the combat works is you have classes for your character, similar
Team
Team Ninja.
Ninja.
That's Ninja Theory just sounded wrong.
Ninja Theory is Team Ninja. My bad.
Yeah. So the way it works is you have classes similar to like older Final Fantasy titles, and even if you played Final Fantasy 14 online, like Fix has, that game has classes, and you level up those classes individually. Classes are tied to their own unique weapons, and that's all very enjoyable to actually go through and be leveling up and switching. And you can have two classes equipped at a time, so you can switch at them in between battle and even in between combos. And that's all really cool.
Yeah.
And then instead of having the parry that a normal Souls-like game has, this game has something that they call a soul counter or something along the lines, where you essentially use your stamina meter to block something. But if you're hit by a spell, you can block the spell, and then you get a certain amount of charges of using that spell back on the enemy, which is actually a really cool mechanic. And the game has like a lot of cool stuff like that in it. I think the final boss fight is pretty fun. The biggest gripe I have with the game is visually. The game is not great looking. The light, I think a lot of it, don't get me wrong, the graphics just generally, I'm assuming the game's pretty far out. Hopefully those get improved a good deal.
I was about to call you out big time. If you were about to say the words, it's
No.
just lighting. Hell no.
No. It's definitely not just lighting. It's definitely not just lighting. But I do think the lighting in it plays a big part, because every time I'm going through, it's like I could hardly see, and I don't know if they picked the lighting, so like we're gonna blind these people. They're not gonna be able to notice the graphics, or if it's just like poor lighting. I do think the lighting plays a good portion of it, but also the graphics in general just are not that great. I hope those get cleaned out.
My thing for this game, obviously, like I've said before, big into Final Fantasy now, really enjoying the world of Final Fantasy. When this got announced, I was a bit confused, and I didn't want to say it during my live stream, but I was just like, this just doesn't look graphically amazing. Like, the main character looks awful. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say it. He looks super generic, super boring. Like, I was just like, okay, yeah, no, this isn't one for me. Everyone's like, oh my god, this is the Dark Souls Final Fantasy game, and I'm like, this should be in my wheelhouse right now. Like, I should want to play this. And I watched Fran FM3_ play Fran Mirabella, for those who don't know. I watched him play it, and I was looking at it, it's like, this game looks hideous. And I was just like, I'm not a graphic guy. Like, I'm not like a guy that won't play a game just because the graphics are not good. But this game specifically, I was like, I'm good. I'm good, you know. Like, graphically, it is so it's just not good looking. I don't know what I was gonna say otherwise. Like, it's just like, nah, I'm good. Not for me. But you're saying the game of it is actually good. The gameplay.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy the gameplay. I do agree though it gets held back quite a bit by the visual appearance of the game. And to be fair, it is a spin-off, and I feel like Final Fantasy spin-offs generally don't look the best for the most part. I'm sure somebody will point out a game and they're like, look at this Final Fantasy game, it's fantastic. But
Yeah.
for me personally, I enjoy this type of game. I enjoy Team Ninja's games in the past. I like Neo, so I'm super excited for this game. Also, coming to Xbox. I know there was a rumor about this beforehand, that it was a PlayStation exclusive. I'm glad to see that only the demo is a PlayStation exclusive, which is still unfortunate. But the full game is coming to Xbox, so that's a good thing.
Fair
I have a
enough.
question. So
Yep.
I am super not a Final Fantasy person, but very much enjoy Souls-like games. So why are people saying this is the Souls-like Final Fantasy game that people have been waiting for? What are the elements that carry over?
It's the difficulty. It's the difficulty and the normal like nature of a Souls, like where you keep replaying it and you get to a boss and the boss is really difficult, and then you're gonna have to go and level up and get XP and all that stuff and get new equipment and things like that, and then refight the boss and keep refighting that boss.
And so, like in Souls games, I feel like the time to die is very low, right? But Final Fantasy games always felt quite long to me, right? Like you're in these fights with normal looking dudes for a long time.
Sure.
Where's the balance there?
You sir haven't played Final Fantasy 14, then. Let me tell you.
What? In which end? Long fights or very, very short fights?
Very short. You can get one shot in that damn game out of nowhere. It's a pain in the ass. But yeah, sorry, Crash, carry on.
It's very, very short fights. Like
Okay.
The boss fights work how normal boss fights are in the term that the boss lasts a very long time, but you die super quick, and I think that's the general rule, at least in my time playing, and I could have just been horrible at the game, but you do die pretty quickly with like against normal mobs and stuff like that.
Maybe this is my Final Fantasy gateway drug. Maybe I should try it, the demo, because everything you're saying sounds interesting to me. I don't care about the visuals. So
I think if you like Souls-like game, try out the demo.
The graphics are so hideous, I wouldn't even touch it.
But I went, Bloodborne was the first Souls-like game I played,
and then game.
Bloodborne is a good-looking game, but then I went back and played all of the Dark Souls games after that, and they are not good-looking games. And the gameplay was enough to carry me through there. So the visuals don't put me off that much.
Let me just tell you, I've been paused. Go on.
If you're gonna tell me that you're not gonna play it because of its looks and its visual appeal, right? I don't want you ever to go and replay an old Resident Evil game again.
It's totally different. Totally different. Totally different.
I don't know. You're saying the graphics are the reason you don't want to play it.
Resident Evil 2 OG only looks slightly worse than what this game looks like.
No, don't do that to this game. That's absolutely an absurd statement. And you know that's an absurd statement.
I'm here for entertainment as well, Crash, you know? Come on.
I don't know. I think you got a little bit mad that I made fun of Resident Evil.
No, Resident Evil, I think Resident Evil is fine. No, Matt, I'm interested to hear what you think next week. Play it, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. It looks like Matt in this game looks like Matt on my screen right now because he's all pixelated. That's literally.
You're really pixelated on my screen.
You've been pixelated the whole podcast. Don't worry about it.
So have you.
Don't worry.
Matt looks pixelated. Matt is like Final Fantasy for me, and then Fix, you're like the OG Resident Evil game.
We both just look terrible here.
Interesting.
Cool.
No stress. Don't worry.
Cool.
We did have the extended showcase that got announced out of nowhere. This is this week's dashboard, by the way. Apologies. Xbox announced an extended showcase that recapped everything that was kind of shown at E3 with a couple of deep dives. We got more information on Forza Horizon 5. We got a behind-the-scenes look on Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2. We also got the big update, which people have gone nuts for. And I've got a gripe with Xbox, but I'll talk about that in a second. Xbox Design Labs is officially back. Today, Senior Director and Strategy of Business James Hunter announced Xbox Design Lab is back with the newest generation of Xbox wireless controllers to help you personalize and create a controller that's unmistakably yours. You can color customized with 18 available colors, including the new ones like Shock Blue, Pulse Red, Electric Volt, for nearly all of the external parts of the controller, such as the body, back, D-pad, triggers, and more. Design Labs are currently going at $69.99 in the US, but you can get them everywhere at xboxdesignlab.xbox.com for those that are interested. I saw Matt P's mock-up of the Potato Squad and the My Xbox and Me controller. Well done, Matt. I appreciate that.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, no, that was good fun. I was just messing around. I was waiting to get my vaccine. And just sort of jumped in there and started messing around with stuff. And yeah, it's great fun to just mess around with it. And yeah, will I ever actually buy myself one? I don't know.
So
it's kind of expensive.
I saw a bunch of influencers out there. They already got sent their controllers and made designs. What the hell happened, Xbox? I'm just saying, we got the #1 Xbox podcast in the UK. I don't know if that's factually correct, but I know we're pretty big.
Don't matter.
What happened? I would like a custom controller. Matt P would like a custom controller. Kresh is in America. He would like a custom controller. I'm not sure what happened. My people need to talk to your people, Xbox. I'm disappointed.
The one thing that surprised me about it is I started making that Potato Squad controller as a joke because I was like, a brown controller? Who's going to... And then when I finished it, I was actually like, I'd probably get the Potato Squad one over the My Xbox and Me one I made. Because, yeah, even though it's a brown controller, it actually kind of still looked cool.
I own 2 Me controllers. I'm not buying no more controllers, let me tell you.
Yeah.
No.
I was looking at it and I was like, you can make pretty good looking controllers, but it's the same thing that when Design Lab used to be here, I was like, I don't really need another controller. And the fact that it's slightly more expensive than just buying a controller outright, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm like, if I really wanted another controller, I'd just go for like a controller they released that's on the cheaper end of it.
The one thing I will say is, as much as I love what Paris did, shout out to Paris, by the way, who hosted the entire showcase.
Smashed it, yeah.
Fantastic job. And obviously he had his joke with Khalif and all that stuff, which was funny. Is I think the writing on them makes the controller look super tacky. Every single time. Yeah, I just don't think it looks nice having an app or something written there. I don't get it. Like, for me, like, I understand that adding that customization option, and I think it's a smart thing to do because look how much it's blown up. But for me, I'm like, I do not want writing on it. But then I'm like, if I made one and like it was the My Xbox and Me controller, they say you need the out on it, and I just don't like it. I don't like the text at all.
Yeah.
What would you rather?
I think the text works in certain situations. Like if I'm giving the controller as a gift to somebody and I'm gonna write something that's like super an inside joke or something like that on that controller, I think it works. But I agree, like if I get that and I engrave something in it, it's just gonna look weird. I would never.
It's like, what?
Yeah, I would never get that.
Go on, Matt. What would you
This
say?
is my controller.
No, I wasn't clear, I guess, on if it was the concept of inscribing something on it or the way that they've done it that you were having sort of more of an issue with. Like if it was actually engraved in, would that matter to you? Because it kind of looks like kind of grey painted almost. I don't really know how they do it, but
the controller itself, everything else, amazing. The fact that this even exists, fantastic. But yeah, I just don't like the text. I don't like the text on it. I don't like the way it's done. I don't like the look of it. I just think it looks a little tacky. And there goes my Xbox controller that Xbox were going to send me. God damn it. I tried.
They're patching it up and everything.
Yeah, trust me. The next thing they showed was Double Fine gave an update on Psychonauts 2. I'm not going through all the details of everything that was shown. There was way too much shown for us to really be able to break it down for you guys. Go and watch this if you haven't watched it already. We then got Stalker 2, more gameplay, A Plague Tale: Innocence. It's been optimized for Xbox Series X and S and will be out July 6th. Age of Empires got a showcase showing more details of that. We got an even deeper look at Battlefield 2042. More information about Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life gameplay. Microsoft Flight Simulator will be landing to Xbox Series X on July 27th with more. We saw more of that. You got a deeper look at Hades when I was like, you don't need to see Hades anymore. We already know that game's amazing. And then we got a bunch of ID at Xbox stuff, Game Pass as well, which was Hades, Among Us is coming. ID Xbox coming day one with Xbox Game Pass this year. You've got Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. You had The Ascent. You've got Sable. You've got Shredders. You've got Bloodroots. You've got Hello Neighbor 2. You've got The Gunk. And you've got Warhammer Darktide. Coming to Game Pass in the future. You've got Atomic Heart, Medieval Dynasty, Replaced, RoboQuest, Slime Rancher 2, Soul Villa, and Stalker 2. All coming. A lot of stuff we already knew. This whole showcase was stuff we already knew was happening, but with a lot more detail. The rest of the information really quickly. Scarlet Nexus, you saw more of. You saw more Halo Infinite. You saw more Grounded of the Grounded update. But what I want to say is Xbox did it perfectly.
Yeah.
In terms of, here's our showcase, and here's everything you can expect. Here's everything that you want to see. Here are the hype moments. Go and pre-order your new Xbox. And here, if you are someone that cares about the deep dives, here's an entire other show with the people that are going to talk about it and know about it best. Let's not waste any time on the E3 stage. I felt like this year for Xbox as a concept of their two shows was the perfect year.
Yeah, no, I'd 100% agree with that. Sorry, you go, Crash. You go.
I agree. I think it was last time they actually did an E3 that they had an Inside Xbox afterwards, and I remember us actually having an issue with the way they did it.
Yeah.
Because there was something off, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I do agree that this situation, the way they did it this time, was absolutely perfect.
You know what the big thing is, I think, was the after show needs to be pre-recorded. You know, like the way, because this was all pre-recorded. None of this was live.
Yeah.
This was all pre-recorded. Yeah. And I think what that allows you to do is trim the fat of devs speaking too much. Or when there's awkward silence and there's awkward moments and there's awkward questions. Like, bring back Paris every year until you want to change it to somebody else. And literally have the people that are going to be showing at your show, have them ready, preemptively have that recorded, and then do your live show at E3 and then just air that afterwards, in my opinion. Like, doing it live doesn't work. This works, in my opinion.
Problem, I think, is at a traditional E3, I don't know. I feel like they'd want to do it live.
Yeah, no,
whether it benefits them or not, I feel like they'd want to do it live just to have that in-person interaction with it. And like, to be honest, it kind of, in a certain way, works if the people who are there can feed off the energy of the crowd. But the problem is when you have developers talking about their games, we've seen it time and time again when there's live content. And I don't think it's a fault of the developers. It just really is a different field from what they're used to. It is a different type of performance you essentially have to do in that situation.
Dude, I was at XO for 3 days. It's boring. Even when you're there live, you only sit down to watch these things when you want to rest your legs for a second. Like, they're just so boring. So I get it from that point of view, and I understand why it happens. But I felt like this was perfect, in my opinion, of like them, doing it this way. But that's just me.
100%. And I think it lets you service your fans better, right? They pre-recorded, like you say, everything in this. So they knew, Paris's little dig at Cleef with the controller
works.
It works because it's edited, right? And because they have the option to say, actually, you know what, we put it in the show, it doesn't work, we're going to take it out. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there were stuff that they took out of the show, a little joke here or this, that, there. Like, it just lets you make a more polished show. Whereas when you're doing it live, these things hang and it doesn't work as well. And I think this was the best option for them. And if they move it back to a live thing next year, I think people will say, oh, but the year before was really great, right?
Yeah. Let's plug and get ourselves out of it, lads. Matt P, we'll start with you. What you got to plug?
Nothing much. Here's what I'll plug. Plug the MC Fixer Discord, because people in there chatting away, leaving us questions, interacting with each other is great to see, right? And, a lot of people.
We should start a separate My Xbox and Me Discord.
We have our My Xbox and Me channel in the MC Fixer Discord. I don't.
Yeah, but do
think people need
a separate one?
I don't think it's up to us. I think it is up to the people. If they want it, they should let us know. We can do that. That's no problem. But there's no point in us being like collectively like, yeah, we should make it. We make it. We put it up, and then nobody joins it, or people join it and then they don't use them. They still use the MC Fixer channel.
Getting a Discord to run and work and people interact in it is so much bloody work. That's why we never did it. A separate one.
Yeah.
But if there is enough people out there that's like, yes, I want a place to talk just Xbox and stuff, I'll look into it. But moderating them is a pain in the butt cheeks as well. So as I've known, because I've been hacked and racially abused in Discord, unfortunately. But that is life.
Yeah, typically if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of thing. I like to work with, and people are chatting away in the MC Fixer Discord in the My Xbox and Me channels, and I think it works. But listen, like let's throw it over to the Potato Squad, and they can make the ultimate decision whether or not they want it in a separated thing.
I went with anything. Why did I say potato?
No.
Controller Squad, something else.
Did you? So somebody tweeted us with the hashtag Potato Squad or something like that. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but a Potato Squad already exists for like streamers and stuff. And so I clicked on it. Somebody liked it, and I'm just a person where like I don't recognize that name at all. Yeah. So let me see, and then it's just they liked a whole bunch of tweets from that hashtag, and I'm like, most of these are like streamers and stuff. This is so weird.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Good for them. Crash, what you got to plug this week?
So if you guys enjoy the podcast, I want you guys to go onto the iTunes, and if you haven't reviewed yet, go drop a review, drop a subscribe on the YouTube page, drop likes on some videos. You don't necessarily have to watch the video. You can mute it, put it in the background. That would be fantastic. The My Xbox and Me TikTok as well. Go check that out.
Big plugs this week, Crush. Big plugs. I like it. I like it. If you want to see what my favorite moments of E3 were, head over to youtube.com/MCFixer. I put out a video of me. It was a different type of video. Usually it's me talking to camera. This was like intro to camera, outro to camera, and then just VO over the top of some gameplay footage. I'd love people's feedback on that, and if that's something people would like to see more of. I am definitely in a weird space at the moment when it comes to YouTube, where I'm like, do I start playing towards the algorithm and all this crap? So, yeah, it's a hard decision to make and stuff, so let me know if you enjoyed that video. And, yeah, you can follow me everywhere at MCFixer. You can follow Matt P at Matt P Video. You can follow Crush at CrushItPlays. We've been My Xbox and Me, and we will catch you next week for episode 300. There should be a guest. We'll see. We'll see.
There will be. Great. I'm sure. Maybe.
There might not be. Who knows? Until next time, love you, leave you, see you later. Goodbyes.
Bye.